All right, yeah. Okay. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. I'm Nowar, but you can call me Rowan. It's my actual name. Um, or if you just want to keep it to Nowar, it's fine. Today I'm gonna be teaching how to draw the figure. Figure drawing, basically how to, basic anatomy and how to use shapes to build human form, how we can use the line of action to make things more dynamic, and yeah, just overall how to improve on your art skill and how to make the a person. That's what I'd say. But yeah, I'm just waiting for some people to come in. If you guys don't know, I'm the creator of Punch Drunk, which you can read here. Shrine. Uh, if this, I think this, if this is everybody, if everybody's here, I can see Harakiri's here. So a lot of interesting people here. Got some people joining in. I hope my laptop doesn't crash while doing this. But I think this should be a good number. Let me check. If this everything works here. I'm just getting a little. Yeah. All right. We're ready. We're ready. We're ready. We're ready to go. We're ready to go. So here we are. We're gonna learn how to do some figure drawing. So basically, what I've got set up here for the class is we're going to be going over a couple images, and those images will be of have a runner. I've got an MMA fighter, two MMA fighters, and a gymnastic, some distant gymnastics. So basically, when drawing the human form, what a lot of people would do, or what I do recommend people doing, is identifying the line of action. So you might be asking yourself, well, what's the line of action? It's this right here. If you can see it, the line of action would be considered to be this line right here. That's the identifying mark of how you would know how to draw a figure. That's the very basic way of seeing it. The more you practice, the more you start seeing it. It can curve like this, or it can curve like that. It could be straight line. It could be that, or that. How you can identify it is by just looking at how people position themselves, really. And once you understand that, you're already halfway there. So what we've got here is a person doing some gymnastics. So with the line of action, I'd want to have her going like this, right? But then you ask yourself, what do I do next? Well, try to look at what kind of shapes the person makes, what shapes their bodies make. It could be you could do it with a circle. Could do it with a varying amount of circles. Could make it like this. Their head like this. Their hips like this. could use circles to identify this. You could use other shapes such as a triangle and an oval and a circle. You can really, you can really play around with it if you want to, that is. But my most preferred method that I personally like to do a lot of the time is usually ovals and circles. So how I would approach it, I'm just going to turn down the opacity here, would be drawing the line of action. There it is right there. Then drawing the person's head, then an oval, then an oval. And there you go. There's the form of a kind of a person. Maybe you want to give them a neck. Hold on. I want to give them a neck right here. There, see? This is kind of torso going on here. A tip that I almost forgot to mention is that the reason why I'm telling you to do line of action as opposed to just starting out with the head is because the line of action shows the center. A lot of time when you want to do figure drawing is you want to focus on the center and then building outwards. You don't want to be starting from the head and then building upon everything else, because then you might run into proportion issues. Or not, you can you can go for whichever one makes you more comfortable, but I recommend more so starting from center and then spreading it outwards so that you keep everything anatomically stable, is what I'd say. So now what's next? How would you draw the rest of this person? So a lot of it is kind of the same as drawing the line of action, as opposed to just being one line. You can also do stick figures, such as, which is why I was talking about the line of action, is you can make a stick figure using the line of action. You can make a quick little stick figure of the person. Doing this, it's a quick little thing. What I usually like to do so that I can stay proportionate is to have the figure doing this. It's drawing in little points here so that I know how to keep them in the proportion I want them to be in. So the legs going like this and the body's going like that. So that's what you want it to look like. I'll usually do a lot of stick figure drawings for the base of anything I draw. And just keep in mind, this we're not like doing figure drawing. It's not always just trying to be making a finished product. A lot of this is for people to practice on the fundamentals of understanding how to draw figures in the fastest, just fast. It doesn't need to, it doesn't need to look messy. It doesn't need to look clean. It can look either way. I just prefer doing it as fast as I can, and it comes out a lot messier than I'd like it to be, but I usually just ink it to make it look cleaner. But the next thing you want to do for the shapes, if you want to make the shape of this person, since we have a basic outline of this person, we want to figure out what kind of shapes we can use. So for shapes, you can use a cylinder. You could use a cylinder to make the shape. Use a little circle and another cylinder. Like that. Try drawing black so it's a little easier to see. So just adding a cylinder here. Drawing here. And adding another cylinder here. Add a cylinder here. Add another cylinder here. Then add a circle. Could add another cylinder. A lot of it is just breaking down what kind of shape the human body looks like. And sometimes that can be through just cylinders, or you could use a shape that you're more familiar with that looks more like the human form. It could look like a triangle, or it could just could look like this kind of shape too. It doesn't need to be like a perfect cylinder or anything like that. You could use any kind of shape, whether it be angles or more natural shapes. But again, this is more so, we're mostly just trying to focus on how to deconstruct the there we go, the figure. Sorry about that. The figure, to make sure that we got everything that we need. And eventually, if you do this enough times, you can get to the point where you don't need the building blocks as often. You can draw the muscles usually from it, the muscles, arms, legs, and stuff like that without having to draw the shapes. You'll just memorize how to do it. But for right now, we can just look at how to use shapes to make the figure. So you'd want something like this. You end up having something like this. Of course, it can be different. It doesn't have to be, it doesn't always have to be just. This isn't like the only one that you can do. The line of action can be in anything. The line of action is here. It can even be here. Let me check the Discord real quick. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. This one is a bit harder. if you can find the line of action, then that's awesome. But I'll help you out. Help you guys out. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'm here. I'm here to help you. So if you want to know what kind of line of action you want to find, it's the main thing. It's right here, right there. You can find it right there. That center line. This helps with another thing that we should know about, I guess, figure drawing is that we also want to make it look, dynamic and natural. So this form has a lot more has more. So he's leaning down as opposed to the other figure is leaning more slightly. Their torso and everything is being bent the other way. This person's running and isn't in the air. So the line would look like this. You'd want the line to be down here. And using whichever method you would like to, I'm just going to use my favorite method, is just the ovals and the stickman. You can draw them like this. As you can see, even his arms, as you can see, has the line of action in it as well. If you can identify it everywhere, you can find it like in these places too. Going through here, going through, on his leg, on his arm, this arm going here, this arm going like that. As you can see, his leg, when going through here, you can find that the line of action is going through here. And when the line of action is going through on his leg here, goes over and then down. So you can put it down here and down here. And there he goes. He's running. I'll use I'll try to make a more better structured kind of robotic to show more of the shapes so that people don't have as hard of a time to identify where the lines are. It's not as messy as the last one. But I do like to go with ovals for the shoulders. With his arm here, has more of this kind of shape going to it. As you can see right there, his arm has it's more so this kind of shape to it. And his shoulder goes like that. It's a very difficult to try and depict. But one thing that I did learn, if you guys like, this is also another tip. If you want to draw something that has foreshortening in it, and this is a big part of figure drawing as well, everybody, you want to, as opposed to just drawing a shape and making it go further away, because sometimes that can be a little harder to do, usually because with a cylinder you can just do this, right? That's how you foreshorten. You have the illusion of it's going either this way or that way. But what I learned how to make it look more natural was a person dubbed it this coil technique. And what they would do is they would just draw in a kind of coil, kind of spring, to make it be more foreshortened. So it's like drawing a band. As it gets further away, and it gets further away from there like that. As with the torso, you can tell it's more so I guess you could say kind of square. You separate out where it is right there, as you can see here. So the line of action goes through here. His torso mostly kind of separates like that. So his torso will go in. As it bumps down. Here are then here's his pants down to here. You can go back up around like that with this kind of shape. I'm not sure what this shape would be called. But that's the kind of shape that you want to have right here. Here's another shape. I don't know what that shape would be called. It's kind of like, just kind of like this. Could combine it with a triangle, and then maybe a square, if you want to call it that. It's just kind of identifying kind of angular shapes. It goes here. Hands. Of course, there's this guy's hand. You can see the hands very clearly. What you usually want to do for hands is draw a square. You always have to remember that fingers are also usually squared, or it's easier to deconstruct like into square fingers. Back when I had my figure drawing class, my teacher would say avoid drawing bumps at the end of your figures, because then your figures end up having sausage fingers. And I was like, oh, okay, all right, I'll make sure never to do that. But I do it anyways. Take that, educator. I don't need to go to school to know how to draw. For the of course, we can just use cylinders for the legs, or like very oddly shaped cylinders if you want to. It's really about identifying shapes. Really, it very much is identifying what shape the body, what the body has. Let's get the head. Let's draw the head. That's usually more so like an egg. If you want to visualize it, you can kind of visualize it as a egg shape. It's like, another hand. And then his hand right over here. Arm. And there we go. Here's another figure that we've drawn. So as you can see, just kind of combining a lot of line art with shape and everything like that. Don't when doing this, don't be too discouraged if you don't get it on the first try. A lot of it I'd consider it a batting average. All right, I got it back. Sorry about that. Awesome, thank you. So yeah, here's this one, and for the next one is, I guess this is more so about action and kind of the stuff that I usually do. And this one's mostly is going to have two people in it, right? There's going to be two people interacting with each other, which a lot of artists, at least some people that I've talked to, and some that that just kind of talk about their their life have said that drawing two people interacting, I guess, is can be hard, especially when they make contact with each other. Yeah, I'm gonna toss. Yeah, we're tossing them right in, right in. So, can you guys tell me how many lines of action there are? Don't worry, I guarantee you won't have to be like every time you make something. You don't have to be like, oh my gosh, where's the line of action this time? Because eventually, if you do it enough times, it'll be ingrained in your mind that you'll know where it is. Because it's everywhere. It's everywhere in this. You know, here it is. His curve is like this. This guy's curve is like this. The leg goes like that. This guy's leg goes down like that. From all the drawings, that we were practicing today, I'll ink this one this time. But first, we gotta lay down the fundamentals. I'm not gonna ask you to all just to just constantly like draw people with just like the shapes method and everything like that. What I always recommend is that people just identify where the line of action is first, because there it is right here. Goes up. It also probably comes back around like that. Trying the wrong layer. No. There we go. I need an eraser. I need the eraser. Don't do this to me right now. Thank you. There we go. So line of action. This guy's body's kind of doing this. And if you pay close attention, his body's kind of twisting because his leg is coming up and hitting the guy right there, right here. But as you can tell, his body's kind of going like this, and his leg is coming back around like that. So it's got a weird thing going here with foreshortening and everything like that. But we'll use what we've learned today. We'll do this. Draw the leg. Line of action kind of goes in over like that. Draw the leg. Going in. Foot kind of has this. You can separate the foot into two different shapes. His arm kind of goes in here. His arm shoots down right there. He's kicking. It's not like going downwards. It's coming towards us. I don't need that. And once it's coming out like that, we can use the coil method I talked about earlier to make it so that it's easier. Do that in another layer so that it's not super messy. Draw the circle as the head. Got his other leg coming down, kind of like that. Draw the little bump right here. Right there. So there's him. There's his figure, right? Basically his figure in stick figure mode. And we gotta draw the next guy. And we got to remember that the leg is coming in like that. It's flying in. This guy's reaction is him getting kicked in the face. What I usually like to do to separate the eyes and mouths and everything, so I'll draw in, this right here, this little cross. And draw his torso here. Arm here. His hand. Here comes down his other arm. It'll go like this. Use these. His other leg is coming up, so we'll just make this bigger. Since it's next to us, it's closer to us, we'll just make this shape look bigger. And you see he's getting kicked in the face. And then we just add the shapes around, like, shapes to get it to be more identified. Got a arm, cylinder here, another kind of cylinder here. I messed up. I made a mistake, guys. during stream. There's no shame. If you guys have any editing software, but if you're doing it traditionally, of course you have the eraser if you're doing it. But if you feel that you made a mistake while doing this, no shame. I'm just gonna make a quick edit. I'll just do a quick edit so that it goes up. I'm gonna use the lasso tool, guys. Don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody. Shh. This doesn't need to be talked about outside the class. Then we'll just draw in the rest of the shapes for this guy next. Also, very, very important to know. Make sure to be using. Make sure to use reference. Because doing this stuff out of your head is hard. It's really, really hard. Real life reference. Yes, you're right. You are very right. Real life reference is very important. I think if you understand the fundamentals of how real life and figure drawing, if you have that very good understanding of how to do it, you can start bending and twisting it to the way you want to do it. That makes sense. Okay, we're going to we'll ink this. Let's shut this off. Got this here. Put this in the center. I'll lower the opacity. And we'll get a more refined. We'll refine this. I'll refine it so that it can be kind of wearing that. Go away. There we go. I'll refine it so it's not like as messy. So what I'll usually do for foreshortening, if it's on a person, if you understand that it's a cylinder shape, you can just do a coil. You can just do a coil kind of method like this, and draw again the hand, the fingers, like that. I want to make sure that we avoid the sausage fingers here. And what's he wearing here? He's wearing this thing. Gotta make sure. That goes here. This goes here. Make sure that his leg, his leg will be going inwards to this point. His leg will be going out like this. I know I'm zigzagging it, but this will give you a good understanding of, oh, this is going inwards and then this is going outwards. Here comes his foot. This right here. This part right here. Again, another cylinder, another shape that you can use. Let's make sure his head's like that. Almost done with this one. Again, we'll just use the coil technique to get a better understanding that this goes here. And this will go here. The shape goes like this. The shape will come out like that. This is just going pow. It's getting hit in the head. I'm in a very uncomfortable position right now, but that's fine. I'll just adjust myself here real quick. His torso, the separation here. Got the cylinder again, it'll come out over like this. And another cylinder. And yeah, this is kind of the first, this is pretty much all of it. Kind of building these kind of basic building blocks of how to draw the figure. So as you can see, it's just use of line of action. Use these shapes here. Use the coil. There's a coil technique that you can use for better use of foreshortening. And oh no, pressed the wrong thing on my tablet. And breaking down, just the body into shapes. So yeah, that's how it, it'll come out. you know, a lot of it can, a lot of this is mostly, is also mostly kind of beginner stuff. A lot of time, I would say a lot of the time this really helps, you know, helped me. It also still helps me in making art and understanding the, you know, understanding the craft of how to draw stuff like this. Um, it's helped me understand how to dissect uh, certain images and dissect other art things that I've made for me to go, oh, that's how it's, you know, that's how it's done. It's, as opposed to me asking, why it was done. I usually ask myself, well, how did they, you know, how is it done? And usually that leads to just dissection of what the original, you know, image is, which would be, not want to do that, which would be what this image is right here. So yeah, that's a it's a lot of what you know, I kind of just have to say about line of action. If you understand how to, if you can, you know, understand that you can see it, it's everywhere. You know, the line of action is everywhere. Right here, here, but it always starts in the center. The thing that I've always learned is that you start from the center and then start working outwards from it. You could say every drawing like this starts from the inward and then outward like that. Usually in the center. But I don't know if I have much else to say. If you'd like to. Sure.
So, can you could you do like a really quick example of how you change things from one thing to just like now that you have the idea
A final image.
so
Yeah, well, let's see. How do we make it into a final? So for a final image, for what you guys would like to see as a final image, is that we go back over it one more time. But this time it's not, you know, it's not going to be as simplified. You know, it's not going to have like all these bits and pieces on it. We want to clean it up. Is what we want to, is what we'd like to see. So what I would usually do is just go, here's the muscle. We add the definitions of where the muscles are in the body. You know, so pretty much we want to look at, well, what kind of definition does this guy have. You can see down, you can see his spine, you can see the muscle here, see the, like, you know, some of the muscles on his arm here. So what we want, or what I usually do, this is mostly just kind of how I do it, is that we add the definition. We add the definition of where the muscles go. And this is usually the last step. This is the final bit that you'd want to, that you'll usually be doing, is just adding in those details that you wanted into it, you know. This is mostly just how I do it. You can approach it any way you want and what kind of details you want to show off. He's got, you know, he's got this going on. He's got his pants kind of going in like that. His pants kind of come in like this. You see here again? Yeah, his pants just kind of going around. Do the creases. A lot of it is mostly just, I don't know, a lot of it is mostly just, there we go. A lot of it is mostly just the details that you'd see in here. So you can see his muscle. There's his muscle crease. Or where it would be more intense, you know, just more intense kind of muscle creases. So his muscle kind of creases over this. And then it comes back down to his like calf muscle. It comes back over, go like this. If you're doing this traditionally, as opposed to digitally, I would usually go, if you're going to the final stage of your drawing, I would usually either erase and then refine the lines, or ink over it and then erase with the more refined lines. But for digitally, it's just mostly using it's mostly just, you know, using layers. Sorry, was there another question? Okay. Goes over like this. Of course, let's see the image again. Guy's gloves like that. So his gloves kind of going in like this. The definition, his body, he draw the ear. I like to go with this kind of shape for my ears when I draw ears like this. Yeah, it's kind of a, let me see here. It's too close. It's kind of a hair. His hair's kind of got one of those going on. It's got a little bun, and his head is mostly shaved on these sides. Let me see let's just draw on the leg here. Of course, just follow lines that you made with the what I call it, the spring, the kind of the spring, whichever you want to call it, the spring method or the coil method. Try and then draw on the foot. Draw the foot in. And there we go. And if you want to add a little bit more, you can add a little speed line right here. If you wanted to add more to that. Yeah, that's how, kind of what I got. This would be the final, this would be what would be considered a more finalized version of the guy. This is where we ideally want to be by the end of, I guess, drawing the figure. That's just how, breaking it down in that way makes it easier to make a figure. It's a lot of what I do for Punch Drunk and other series that I've, the other comics that I've made before. I just use these methods to draw them. And here's all three. These are all three of them. That's what I'd say. So that here's the completed. Just pretty close, and then here's the first part. The very basic, rough design that you'll usually start off with. Yeah. This yeah. Yeah, don't be discouraged or just disappointed. In figure drawing, and a lot of figure drawing, usually a lot of it's just the first step that you'll be doing a lot of the times. But yeah. Oh yeah, that's also another. It's another method to keep in mind. But yeah, these are. This is what I'd say is the pretty much the beginning of this first one is pretty much where you can start out. A lot of people start off with. A lot of time, what I learned was to just draw, I'd say, stick figures, and usually that's a pretty popular way of first starting out your figure. It's a very fast and very effective way of doing a figure. As long as you know where the lines are going. It's a good way of knowing how to do the figure. But yeah, if anybody has any questions, go ahead go ahead and ask. Since that's kind of just, I guess this is I guess I would say kind of just trying to wind down. I'm just gonna draw a couple stick figures using the line of action. But yeah, use reference, and if you don't have any reference around, you can always take a photo and use reference to draw the figure. I found all these images on Google. Google Images. Yeah. But yeah. Yeah. That'd be awesome. Yeah. Yeah. Well, if nobody else, if nobody else has any other questions, if there's any other questions, I'll turn off the stream. I'll turn off the stream.